new clone. That's what I'm calling it from now. I mean, this brother's just giving out MVP candidacies to everybody.
You thought the Cowboys were going to give me a butter knife to come into this bazooka fight, right? But they gave me a bazooka, and I'm in this fight with the bazooka because the Cowboys are playing great.
I am having a very, very bad morning, okay? 9 years, $324 million. And this brother can't get out of the third inning.
Stephen A's office.
You in my office. Get out of my office. Get out of my office.
17 years in the West, it ain't never been easy. And I feel like the West is going to be just as tough this year as it's been any other year.
Don't hate my brother, Mr. Orange Crush. The combination of your outfit with Dan and that orange outfit, I mean, you might blind the viewers. You have the audacity to talk about somebody's hairdo? You got a damn slow.
You know, slow the Cowboys take it to the Super Bowl.
A brother in his 50s with a receded hairline and still looking this damn good. I mean, damn.
Stephen A., I got your text message. What is the best play of my career? I don't know if it was the best play of my career, but it's definitely the most memorable and arguably the most funny play I've ever been a part of.
Hey, Mark, bam!
Still mad you did my guy Dan like that. Plenty more first takes still to come on this Feel Good Friday from LA. Justin Herbert and the Chargers taking on a one-loss Browns team this Sunday. By the way, Mayfield's been playing with a partially torn labrum. With a win there, will Herbert's MVP stock begin soaring? We get into that. Plus, the Packers looking for a fourth straight win as they take on the 3-1 Bengals squad. Is Green Bay a legit Super Bowl contender? We're talking that bad man. But first, the 0-4 Jags look to get their win when Ryan Tannehill and King Henry and the Titans come to town. Obviously, this week has been filled with distractions after Jags head coach Urban Meyer found himself in a compromising situation after not traveling back with his team, choosing to stay in Ohio. Video surfaced of a woman who is not his wife dancing on his lap. Jags owner Shad Khan said he has to regain the trust and respect of his team. Tim, you are obviously very close with Urban Meyer. What advice would you give to him?
Hello?
Tim,
are you there? I think something happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll let you react first.
Yeah, well, listen. And I'm really anxious to hear what Tim Tebow has to say about this because he knows the man personally.
Yeah.
I'm on a record. I don't think that what transpired with the latest incident is a fireable offense. But what people have made it a point to highlight is that it seems to be one thing after another with Urban Meyer, who is supposed to be considered the leader of men. Is his record impeccable in terms of, some of the decisions that he's made as a leader? Absolutely not. But he is an impeccable coach. He does win. This 0-4 situation with Jacksonville, when you just won 90% of your games at Ohio State and at Florida you won 81% of your games, and for your career you've won 85% of your games, and then you start a new job and it's a new venture on a new level, which is the National Football League, and you start out 0-4, it is an incredible transition. And for me, was it wise for him to go home, go back to see his family and all of that stuff? I don't think so. I get all of that. But in the same breath, hey, it's a mistake that's tolerable. Now, what you did when you went to your establishment that you own and people came over there and they saw your hand on somebody's leg or whatever, I know it's not popular to say this, but ladies and gentlemen, that's none of our damn business. That's between him and his family. His wife, his kids. It's none of my business. Now, if something isn't consensual and laws were broken, then that's different. But if that's not the case, it's none of our business. In terms of him going home, I'm just like this. What they describe him as in terms of how fixated he is on doing his job on an excellent level and winning, et cetera, and how he wears every loss, every victory on his sleeve, it's not beyond the realm of comprehension as to why he decided to go home and be around his family. That might have been a reprieve he needed. I know Keyshawn was on earlier this week, and he lamented that. But the bottom line is that kind of stuff happens. And I think that portion of it is a bit overblown.
But where I don't think it's fair is I'm sure the players were upset also, Stephen A. They were upset about the loss. They're upset that they're 0-4, and they have to come back. And you should be with your team, whether it's a win or a loss. But where I struggle in these situations, and we will get Tim, we're dealing with some technical difficulties. We're going to take a quick break. I just want to say this quickly. I never will judge people based on their worst moment ever. That's not who they are. So I am sometimes divided on these types of subjects, but also you do need to be held accountable as a leader of men. And I think what Dan Orlovsky said that hit so hard was the fact that if you can't lead yourself, how can I trust you to lead men? And you don't have experience in the NFL ranks. So you're also still proving yourself as a coach. But before you respond, let's take a break. Let's get Tim. And
a score!
This is a big game. We want to win it.
You're either elite or you're not.
the SEC entered October with 6 schools ranked in the top 15, but only 2 of those teams won last week. Number 1, Alabama. Number 2, Georgia. With dominating wins over ranked opponents, the Crimson Tide and Bulldogs seem to have separated themselves. Both rank in the top 5 of offensive and defensive efficiency. Undefeated Georgia faces a 1-loss Auburn team on Saturday. Tim, you're down there in SEC country. Do you think Alabama should be worried about Georgia?
Absolutely. I mean, if you watch them play, if you look at that defense, if you look at all the playmakers, how physical they are on special teams, I think if there's a question mark for Georgia, it's how will their offense handle big games? How will they handle press coverage? Do they have enough playmakers on the outside? Other than that, you have a Georgia team that is so elite. Their front 7 is one of the best probably in the last 8 to 10 years. I mean, this is a defense that has a chance to be up there with some of the great Alabama defenses in the past. And if there was a weakness, which I don't think there is, it would possibly be in their secondary. But I mean, this defense is ridiculous. I mean, multiple shutouts against really good teams. They're scoring more points as a defense than opposing offenses are scoring against them. I think if you're Alabama, you absolutely have to look at them and say, you know what, we have to go out, we have to play our best game to be able to beat this Georgia team. That's how good Georgia is right now.
Mere bag of shells, mere bag of shells. Ain't no reason to be worried if you're Alabama. You understand? I tried to tell you this, that you had one good weekend. Your Florida Gators showed up, was highly competitive, almost won the daggone game. I was shocked. I gave them props. But then you took it too far, Tim Tebow. You took it too far. I do remember you talking to me about how Ole Miss was going to give Alabama a run for their money. And what happened? Do you want to say it with me? Roll Tide. Did you see that? Held scoreless in the first half, 35 unanswered points by the Alabama Crimson Tide. I mean, please. Listen. You got a situation right now where we talk about Alabama, man. You talk about Bryce Young and the crew. You know what I'm saying? I'm not worried about Georgia. Georgia's defense is legit. I get that. They are elite. Their offense, that is an entirely different matter altogether, Tim Tebow. I'm not concerned about the Bulldogs. And by the way, there's too many damn schools in college that got the nickname Bulldogs, okay? There's too many of them, all right? Georgia, I understand, is elite in that regard, but against everyone but the Tide. They are number 2 for a reason. You got to play both sides of the ball. They got an elite defense, no doubt about it. Tim Tebow's absolutely right about that. Their offense is an entirely different matter altogether, scoring 10 points against Clemson. Please, ain't worried about no Georgia. They're going to get rolled, too.
All right, first of all, Stephen A., you know one of the differences between me and you?
Yes,
is
sir.
I can admit when I was wrong, and I was wrong. I thought Ole Miss was going to be more competitive. I thought they were going to score more. So you know what? I was wrong. I can say that open and honestly. But I'm not wrong about Georgia being an absolute, possibly a nightmare against Alabama. The way they play, the style that they play, it is such a style that is not good for Alabama. To press the receivers, to not get them off the line, to be able to take away all the bubble passes. I'm not saying that they're better than Alabama, but I'm saying when they play, if they play in the SEC championship game or in the college football playoff, it is going to be an absolute battle. Just like we saw 4 or 5 years ago in the national championship. That's how good this Georgia defense is. And if their offense continues to get better, yes, it will be an absolute war.
It'll be, listen, they'll keep it competitive because their defense is big time. I get all of that. But when you can't score, you ain't got no shot against Alabama. And I'm not sold on Georgia. I'm just not, because offensively, I think they're challenged. Defensively, everybody talks about their defense. But again, and not only am I bringing that up, it's Kirby Smart coaching them, who's an exceptional coach, and I get all of that. except for when he goes up against Nick Saban. As every former assistant that goes up against Nick Saban ends up feeling the wrath. The man is 24-0 against his former assistants. None of them have ever beaten them. Okay, I understand people want to believe that Kirby Smart will be that first dude. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen.
But Stephen A., the one thing we have to take into account is that offense doesn't have to be ready next week. They won't play Alabama until the end of the year in the SEC championship game or in the college football playoff. So that what that offense has to do is continue to develop, to find more and more playmakers, because you got to remember, they lost their two top playmakers, their best receiver, their best tight end in preseason. They don't have them. So that offense is also trying to figure out who they are and developing guys. But they do have a lot of young talent that by the end of the year, maybe it's a different offense than we see right now. Yeah. That's why throughout a season, you can be such a different team. Yeah, trust the process.
You don't develop against Alabama. You're either ready or you're not. And they ain't ready.
Stephen A., do you prefer Huskies to Bulldogs? NFCs, let's go. My New York Football Giants getting it together, keeping hope alive. We've been seeing solid play from Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. As for Dallas, they're looking like a Super Bowl contender. Dallas is favored by 7. But divisional games, obviously, always a dogfight. Stephen A., do you trust the Cowboys?
Absolutely not. Look. I mean, do we not see what's happening here? Do we not see what's happening? Okay, y'all, Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, we see what they bring to the table. Right now, if I had a vote and it was Defensive Player of the Year, it would be Diggs for the Cowboys. The guy has been special the first 4 weeks of the season. Major props to him, all the props in the world. Stephon Diggs should be very, very proud of his little brother. I got it. I understand.